A young boy once lived in an orphanage, struggled to make friends with anyone. No one ever seemed interested in adopting him either. He always seemed a bit depressed and would always drive people away from him due to his odd quirks. He never acted normal, and he was seen as too much of a hassle to fix, as the potential parents wanted someone more well-mannered and right. One day, the orphanage decided to throw a little Halloween party for the kids, and they decided to take them to the pumpkin patch close by. When he laid eyes on the colorful, shapeful pumpkins around him, he became enamored with them, especially the carved ones on display. You know, the ones that had the iconic jack-o'-lantern face you typically see everywhere during Halloween. After that fateful day, he decided to visit the pumpkin patch and, well, hang out with the pumpkins all by himself. Oftentimes just sitting there having a full-on conversation with them. Not out loud, however. He would just whisper to them, talking about how unwanted he felt. He was never perfect enough or normal, as he'd hear from his caretakers during their little gossip lunch breaks that he would have a habit of stalking. He began to wish he himself was a pumpkin, as ridiculous as that sounds. I mean, after all, people did not seem to care about how different the pumpkins were from one another. Far as he could tell anyway, the plants received better treatment than him, an actual living boy. Almost felt an odd jealousy towards the damn things. One day, he decided to start stealing the pumpkins and taking them back with him. He made this elaborate scheme where he would blend in with the crowd that were all disorderly standing in line, impatiently waiting to purchase their little pumpkins. The boy liked pretending to be part of the families and attempted to trick the prying eyes of nearby security. When they would all shuffle and bundle their way out to the parking lot, he would walk with them as well, and then sneak off to the orphanage, which was pretty close by. He had stolen a total of 4 pumpkins on 2 separate trips there. Despite his newfound friends, he began to wish they would actually talk back to him, instead of him being a complete nutter, as if he was a 7-year-old playing with toys, spouting out different voices for his action figures. Far too mature for that, he thought. After all, he was 9. Well, after the ordeal, he went ahead and stole a knife from the kitchen. Trust me, those bozos at the orphanage did not pay any real attention to the children, let alone me. And so, I used the knife to carve out their facial features. The boy would hide in the janitor's closet while doing this, which is where he would spend his quality time with his sad excuse for friends. He so desperately wished he could become a pumpkin while staring at their imperfections. And well, he eventually got his little cosmic wish. As when he woke up from his apparent slumber, he must have fallen asleep in the closet, he found himself to be an actual pumpkin. As a result, he was able to speak to them. However, he could not see them. He could not feel anything, really. And why would he? His skin suit was sucked up into thin air, floating off in some weird dimension somewhere, as now he was just a pumpkin. On the outside, all you would see are 5 pumpkins standing on the floor inside the janitor's closet. So he began to feel regretful, as I'm sure many would. Sure, he wanted this, or so he convinced himself. All he really wanted was for people to like him. I suppose you really should be careful of what you wish for, but who would have thought wishes could actually come true? The pumpkins spoke to him, but what he learned about them was nothing but disturbing. They too used to be children at one point in time. It seems some unfortunate souls turn to pumpkins after tragically dying, failing to make it out of childhood. Of course, his situation was different, except this is when it hit him. His wish did not come true. He must have died. But how? How could this have happened? Panicked, he thought back to what could have led to his demise, but nothing came to mind. Maybe it was an allergic reaction to the chemicals in the closet. Or perhaps it was from a lonely heart that finally caved. In truth, the pumpkins could be lying. It crossed his mind, which terrified him. What really happened to him? If there is a truth to be found, he was not going to find it. And outside of closure, I guess it really did not matter. So they just sat there in the dark, alone. Days turned to weeks. When they were finally found, the jack-o'-lantern pumpkins were found to be rotted, collapsed from the weight of gravity and time. All except for one that had not been carved. No one knew what happened to the boy. No one really cared. An unfortunate truth. I wish I could say there was more to be said, but well. Just keep this story in mind when fall rolls around again. The next time you come across a pumpkin, if you listen carefully, you might just hear the screams of the lost and forgotten.